Coming up on MilCyberSync, details on the takedown of the world's largest illegal dark web marketplace.
Also ahead, Facebook working overtime to combat Russian-led propaganda.
And the first ever Hammercon drawing closer. Time to get your tickets. So get ready to get in sync with MilCyberSync.
You're watching the MilCyberSync Weekly News with your host, Nick Thomas, and news anchor, Layla Gulen.
Hello and welcome to the MilCyberSync podcast, reporting on the latest events happening in cyber news. I'm Layla Gulen with your host, Nick Thomas. Nick, fantastic to see you.
Hey, good to see you, Layla. How are you doing?
Doing just great.
Hey, we've got some interesting stories ahead, but first I just wanted to let everyone know that CISA has announced April as Emergency Communications Month. So what that means is they're going to be focusing on highlighting the role of emergency communications with partners, as well as better protect the government and consumers when it comes to cybersecurity. So that's going to be some exciting news for this month of April from CISA. So make sure to pay attention because we'll be bringing that to you as well. Right, Layla?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Nick. Well, getting us started here, researchers have found that cyber espionage actor known as Saint Bear is now using a macro-embedded Excel document to target several entities in Ukraine. Researchers say the attackers use malicious implants called Grimplant, Graph Steel, and Cobalt Strike Beacon to attack Ukrainians with fake translation software. The group is also known to have performed the Whispergate disruptive attack against the Ukrainian government entities in early 2022. The attack starts with a phishing email in which a document attachment containing a malicious macro drops an embedded payload. Then further payloads are downloaded from the attacker's server in base64 format. By the end of the campaign, victim credentials are stolen, along with data from several services, including Wi-Fi information and mail accounts. Nick?
Germany's Federal Criminal Police Office announced the official takedown of the world's largest legal dark web marketplace called Hydra. The marketplace has cumulatively facilitated more than $5 billion in Bitcoin transactions of narcotics, forged documents, and stolen credit cards. The Russian-language darknet was launched in 2015 as a competitor to the now-defunct Russian anonymous marketplace known as Ramp. Visitors to the marketplace website are now greeted by a seizure banner that says, "The platform and the criminal content have been seized by the Federal Criminal Police Office." The takedown follows a wave of recent law enforcement actions against criminal marketplaces since the start of the year. Layla?
Well, meanwhile, the Treasury Department imposed sanctions against Hydra. Officials say it's part of an international effort to disrupt proliferation of malicious cybercrime services, dangerous drugs, and other illegal offerings. The now defunct platform had been accessible via the Tor network. The Office of Foreign Assets Control disclosed a list of more than 100 virtual currency addresses that have been identified as associated with the entity's operations to conduct illicit transactions. A 30-year-old Russian national is also facing charges in connection with operating the servers used to run Hydra, in addition to accusing him for furthering the distribution of narcotics and engaging in money laundering. Nick?
The Justice Department has announced that it has successfully disrupted Cyclops Blink, a botnet controlled by the Russia-linked threat actor Sandworm, also known as Voodoo Bear. The botnet was removed from thousands of infected devices worldwide. The malware has been active since June 2019 and affects small home office network devices, especially those from network security vendor WatchGuard. Sandworm is linked to the Russian GRU's main center for special technologies. It introduced Cyclops Blink as a replacement for the VPN filter malware, which was exposed by the FBI in 2018. It had infected routers made by companies included Linksys, MikroTik, Netgear, and others in 54 countries, including the U.S. Layla?
Well, Facebook's parent company Meta says Russian state actors and others using the social network against Ukraine with deception, hacking, and coordinated bullying campaigns. Tactics have included using bogus accounts to spread false stories, such as Ukrainian troops surrendering, or call for a street protest in Warsaw against the Polish government. Meta said it disrupted a network of about 200 Facebook accounts in Russia that were working together to falsely accuse people of violating the social network's policies to get posts about Ukraine removed. Well, Meta has blocked the accounts of the Russian state-run media RT and Sputnik in the European Union. Moscow responded by blocking Facebook and Instagram. Social media networks have become one of the fronts in Russia's invasion of Ukraine, home to sometimes misleading information, but also real-time monitoring of one of the biggest geopolitical crises in decades. Nick.
Meta and other big tech companies have responded by removing or restricting Russian state-run media, by targeting disinformation networks, and by labeling content it does not remove. Twitter this week announced it would also label state-controlled media from Belarus. The prevalence of Russian-linked propaganda and disinformation on social media shows that a more aggressive response is needed. A recent study found numerous Facebook intentions of Russia's discredited bioweapon conspiracy theory. Meta said it would be rolling out additional policies in the coming weeks and in months to make sure it stays ahead of groups looking to exploit its platforms. Layla?
Well, a Chinese state-backed advanced persistent threat group is being suspected of a new long-running espionage campaign targeting new geographies. Known for singling out Japanese entities, these widespread intrusions are believed to have commenced in mid-2021 and continued as recently as February. They've been tied to a group tracked as Cicada, which is also known as APT-10, Stone Panda, and Menu Pass Team. Researchers say the new set of attacks commence with the actors gaining initial access by means of a known unpatched vulnerability in Microsoft Exchange servers, using it to deploy their backdoor of choice, SodaMaster. Victims include government, legal, religious, and non-governmental organizations in multiple countries around the world, including Europe, Asia, and North America. Nick?
Well, we've got more to come. The State Department adds a new cyber bureau. Details after the break.
Today's network and security monitoring solutions are vulnerable to overload situations that lead to decreased visibility and undetected intrusions. Monitoring applications require hardware to keep up with real-time traffic analysis, making it complex and costly. Your security monitoring solutions may be unable to keep up during cyber attacks or traffic spikes, making intrusion more likely. A new approach is needed to increase network protection and visibility. Excelio simplifies and streamlines your network monitoring for critical security, network, and application analysis. Learn more at excelio.com.
Welcome back. A new electric car attack technique has been discovered that compromises the popular combined charging system that could potentially disrupt the ability to charge electric vehicles at scale. A group of academics from the University of Oxford and Armasuisse S&T discovered the broken wire method. It interferes with the control communications that transpire between the vehicle and charger to wirelessly abort the charging sessions from a distance of as far as 151 feet. Broken wire could affect up to 12 million battery EVs, estimated to be on the roads worldwide. Researchers say the attack can be mounted with a mix of off-the-shelf components like software-defined radio, power amplifiers, and a dipole antenna. Nick?
2 teenagers have been charged by London police for their alleged roles in a hacking group that is believed to be the infamous Lapsus gang. The 16 and 17-year-olds were arrested a week ago, along with 5 other teens supposedly involved in Lapsus attacks. They face 3 counts of unauthorized access to a computer with intent to impair the reliability of data, 1 count of fraud by false representation, and 1 count of unauthorized access to a computer with intent to hinder access to data. Lapsus rose to fame over the past several months due to its involvement in a number of high-profile, financially motivated cyber attacks. Layla?
Well, researchers have dissected a new piece of Android malware that poses a process manager and asks for an extensive amount of privileges. The malware infrastructure appears to be associated with Russian cyber espionage group Turla. It's the only malware family to connect to a specific IP address associated with Turla and can be attributed to the infamous APT. Once permissions have been granted, attackers then gain full access to the consumer's device and user data. The malware requests access to things like device location, network settings, camera and audio settings, and more. Found in Google Play, the application is supposedly designed to help users earn money, which suggests that the attackers may attempt to use it as a means to monetize the device access. Nick.
CISA has recently disclosed a remote code execution vulnerability affecting the Spring framework to its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog. The active exploitation is a critically severity flaw dubbed Spring for Shell and impacts Spring Model, View and Controller, and Spring WebFlux applications running on Java Development Kit 9 and later. Exact details of in-the-wild abuse remain unclear, but researchers say active scanning for this vulnerability has been observed coming from the usual suspects like Russia and Chinese IP space. Similar activities include the deployment of a web shell for backdoor access and to execute arbitrary commands on the server with the goal of delivering other malware or spreading within the target network. Layla?
Well, the Department of State has announced the creation of the Bureau of Cyberspace and Digital Policy. The new entity was created to deal with national security challenges, but also with the implications of cyberspace and digital technologies and policies on U.S. values. 3 policy units will be part of the CDP Bureau, namely Digital Freedom, International Cyberspace Security, and International Information and Communications Policy. It aims to merge the security, the economics, and the values aspect of cyberspace into a single bureau to ensure an integrated and coordinated approach. Nick.
This includes the modernization of new and emerging technology to further national security, economic developments, and digital technologies. The State Department will be asking for a 50% increase in its information technology budget and more sophisticated data strategy to build a robust technological environment within the agency. Jennifer Bacchus, who previously served as the Deputy Chief of Mission at the U.S. Embassy in Prague, will be serving as its inaugural lead. Layla?
Well, the Military Cyber Professionals Association has just added 2 new senior leaders to its board of advisors. Brigadier General Paul Kraft, Army Chief of Cyber and Commandant of the Army Cyber School, and Brigadier General Terry Williams, Vice Director for Operations Cyber at the National Guard Bureau. All personnel involved with leading the MCPA are unpaid volunteers serving in their personal capacities. Nick.
Well, get ready for it. The first annual Hammercon Convention is fast approaching. This inaugural national convention of the Military Cyber Professionals Association will be a gathering of the cybersecurity community from across the nation, converging on the campus of Capital Technology University. Fun events including Hacker Jeopardy and Capture the Flag, in addition to the main conference tracks that include cyber operations readiness and experiences and growing innovations in tech. This year's speakers include Command Sergeant Major Cheryl Lyon of Cybercom NSA. National Cyber Director Chris Inglis will be providing remarks in addition to this year's theme. The event will take place all day on Thursday, May 19th, so be sure to get your tickets before they run out. Layla?
Yes. Got to run and get those tickets, Nick.
Yep.
Well, before we go, we'd like to congratulate CISA Director Jen Easterly for her recent 2022 Rear Admiral Grace Hopper Award. The prestigious award was presented at the National Defense University's College of Information and Cyberspace. It honors Easterly's long list of accomplishments spanning the public and private sectors. The award is named after the legendary Amazing Grace Hopper, an early pioneer and leader in computing. Hopper served as faculty of the college decades ago when it was called the DoD Computer Institute. Her organization aims to lead the national effort to understand, manage, and reduce risk to cyber and physical infrastructure. Congratulations again to her. Well, that's going to do it for us. On behalf of Nick and myself, thank you so much for watching. You're now in sync with MilCyberSync. We'll see you again next week.